And today I've got a very special guest here. She's also into sharing about money management, financial literacy. Mita, welcome.
Thank you very much, Tarie. Thank you so much for having me. It is indeed an honor to be here. Yes, guys, I also love talking about money. I'm passionate about it, and I think it's a very important topic that we need to start having. So as we all know, this is Money Smart Week, and we need to be talking about money this week. We will be educating everybody about this money.
Yes, so we were so lucky this year that we got approved to be sharing on the Money Smart Week. So they work with National Treasury, Financial Consumer Education. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Financial Consumer Education, where they educate people on how to manage financial literacy. So they look for people like me and Mita, financial educators, to educate people and to spread awareness of financial literacy. And this year's tagline, Mita, is build your future. Be smart about your money. So that's what we're going to be talking about. How best can we build our future, Mita?
Yes, definitely. So one of the things that we are challenged about as people is debt. Debt is overwhelming us, and a lot of households are currently struggling, especially with the current financial economy that is happening in South Africa. So we need to find a way to manage our debt, and we need to find a way to be able to pay off our debt and also be able to cover our monthly expenses, which are necessities. So one of the most important ways that can help a person to actually prevent themselves from falling into debt, actually, Tarie, is a person must have an emergency fund. You know, it's not easy, especially now with the cost of living, but it's extremely important to have an emergency fund, because one of the reasons that we've come across when we speak to a lot of consumers is that they fall into debt because there is no emergency fund. Situations happen. We are human beings, and we fall into circumstances that are outside of our control, and we need to have money for these circumstances. So if you've got an emergency fund, then you've got a place where you can go and get some money to cover an emergency.
True. I really love that about Mita. You know what, when I saw this tagline that we need to build our future and be smart about money, I also thought of, debt. Because, like one thing which put us aside is that many people were trapped in debt.
Exactly.
But when I was thinking of that as well, I also think, when I was speaking about the future, how best can we start taking care of that future? Because our future selves is as important as our present selves.
Yes.
In that, I say that, in as much we are making money today, and when I retire, what kind of life do I want? Yes. So in this, I'm putting on investing. We need to start putting money aside for that future, because here's the thing, now I'm leaving, I'm still able to go to work, I'm still able to do side hustles, to do this A, B, C, D, both I still can, but there's this age which gonna come.
Yes.
Because remember, every year we are getting older. And as we are getting older, there's a time where we won't be able to work. So we need to start taking care of that time. We need to start putting money aside for that future. That's why we say that this year's tagline is, you need to be smart about your money. You need to start thinking, when you retire, when you get to that age where you can't be able to work, how are you going to be taking care of yourself? You need to start having those conversations with the people you love and yourself as well, that, how can I have cash flow keep on flowing to me?
Exactly.
When you're no longer being able to work, so that we don't perpetuate the black tax thing. As our parents, they are looking for us to take care of them.
Exactly.
But with our generation, we can't continue doing that. So we need to start at least start a business, invest in property, so that you know that you're gonna put tenants, and you're gonna start having money in the future. So what else can you add on that tagline?
I think it's very important. Being smart about our money, it's extremely important, and it also speaks to one thing that has not been said, or it's a subject that we normally don't address. This thing of having your income being equal to your expenses is extremely dangerous. If you earn 10,000 rand and your expenses are also 10,000 rand, you are really, really living a dangerous life. Let's take, for example, what happened with COVID. Some of us either lost their jobs or their incomes were cut. So you can imagine if your expenses were 10,000 rand and your income was cut by 20% or whatever percentage, it means you were not able to cover your expenses. And especially if you did not have an emergency, or especially if you did not prepare for the future, for that matter. So it also speaks to the notion that we need to learn to live below our means. This helps us. Tarie just mentioned one thing, having a side hustle, having that extra income. It's extremely important, because it means you're leaving something on the side for the future. If I'm living below my means, I'm saying that, yes, I earn 10,000 rand, but I'm not going to spend the whole 10,000 rand on my needs. I'm gonna take some of it. It could be 500 rand, it could be 200 rand, but it's going to be invested towards what Tarie just spoke about, the future. You know, who I am now is just as important as who I'm going to be in the future. So if my 200 rand can go towards the future, and the future is not just taking up a retirement policy only, it's essentially important, but the future also means that what do I do to multiply what I have in my hands? You know, if I've got this one-time chance of having 500 rand, what do I do to this 500 rand in order to better my future? You know, so it's extremely important. Let us learn that concept. Live below your means. Extremely important.
It's very important, Mita. Yeah, you know what? We need to live below our means.
Yes.
If you can, like, I always tell my husband that, you know what, at least if you can try to maintain living on one person's salary,
yes,
and the other one we use it to invest for our future, because
definitely,
that future is definitely important. So that means that if you are going to do that, there's a lot of sacrifices we are going to be making.
Yeah.
But I think it's worthwhile. It is worthwhile.
It is
worthwhile for the future.
Exactly.
So as we were talking about this tagline as well, I also thought of, okay, we are building our future. We are being smart about our money.
Yes.
What else can we do in that phrase? Then I thought about, okay, the life when I'm gone. Like now I'm doing all these sacrifices.
Yes.
Whom am I doing it for? Then I get to think that, okay, whatever I'm working hard for is for my loved ones.
Yes.
My children first,
Definitely.
my parents, and my siblings, those people who are close to me, who I know that I love, and maybe charity organizations in which I support.
Yes.
But now, what happens maybe if I die and I don't have a will? So that get me thinking that, okay, it's very important to start like, okay, I know it's a very uncomfortable topic. A very comfortable topic. Do you have a will, Mita?
My friends, I also need to get to that. I need to get that will because it's extremely important. You can imagine if life happens and I'm no longer there to look after my children, who will look after them? Let alone, I mean, a will is not just for money as well. You state your wishes. Who will look after your children when you're gone? Very important topic.
Yeah,
very
definitely. I will definitely be your accountability partner. I want to say that you got a will.
Definitely.
So, guys, we know we are getting into September in this month because September is a free will month where you can go to any lawyer, any houses where they do wills like Capital Legacy. They can draft your will for free of charge because September is a month where they promote wills. So, as we are talking about this Money Smart Week, we'll be still until 4th September. So please make sure that this week you go and ensure that you got a will. If you got any assets, you got anything you know that you want, and you've got children, please, you need to think of those kids. I know it's not comfortable to be, okay, distributing your wealth, distributing everything to the people, but just stating, it's just, as Mita said, it's just stating that, okay, this is how I want my money, or this is how I want my assets to be distributed when I'm no longer there. Because when you're no longer there, no one can defend for you. You know, we've got other relatives who can chase away your kids in that house you've been working hard to build, and your kids can be destitute whilst you're working very hard for those kids. So if you've got children, please think of your children and do the right thing. And this month, this month is the good part of it is that it's free will month. So look for any place where you can go and get your will drafted. So with this, I think we did cover like basics of how we can build our future and be smart about our money.
Exactly. It's very important, guys. Remember, be smart about your money. Days are gone. Actually, the time has gone whereby we can do whatever we want, however we want with our money. We need to start being smart. You know, Tarie spoke now about her will. I wonder if people are aware, Tarie, about what happens to your children or your assets or your finances if you do not have a will. You know, if you don't have a will written down, the state has to take care of your assets, they have to take care of guardianship for your children, and they have to appoint someone who is called an executor. This is someone who will look after all of your assets for you. So if you write a will, you determine all of this, all of your wishes on your will. But if no one is if actually you don't write a will, then the state can do whatever they want with what belongs to you. So do the right thing. September, it's free will month. Get yourself that will. I know I'm going to do it because it is the right thing to do.
Yes, so with that, let's say, build your future, be smart about your money.
Money Smart
Week 2022.
Bye.